Hello, chat. Welcome to this Wednesday night stream. We back, baby. And we got plenty to talk about. We got DC, we got Marvel, we got Star Wars. Got a little something for everybody this evening. I hope you are ready for what I do believe, chat, will be a good stream. So fill your cup, light your smoke, because it is hump day in the basement. And it's time to get nerdy. All right, enough goofing around. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the basement on this Wednesday night. How has everybody been? I haven't been here since Thursday. I know I took Saturday off. It was my birthday weekend. If you did not know, these are official now. All this gray-white shit you see, I turned 50 on Monday. Yes. 50 times around the sun, half a fucking century of life. I have achieved that. Not much else, but that I did achieve. How are we all doing? How's your week been? How was your guys' this weekend? How's the beginning of the week been for everybody? What's going on? Chat, talk to me. What is happening with y'all? What's been happening with y'all? Spicy Dan, Scotty, Carl, Brooke. How are we doing this evening? I'm actually doing okay. It was cool. I had a good weekend, though. It was a good birthday weekend. Y'all know Rob. You see him in chat as Robert Naples. Everyone refreshed. What the fuck? Oh, that's right. You are in New York, Brooke. I hope you're having fun. Is there something wrong with the stream? Is that why you're saying everyone refreshed? Like, what the fuck's happening here? But talk to me, Daniel. Talk to me, Spicy Dan. What's going on? What's happening? Is there something goofy? I'm looking at the... Doesn't look any more goofy than normal. Didn't bring your laptop. Well, what the fuck, Brooke? Hey! Catch up on Gen V and watch the new One Punch Man season. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's been fun, but you miss home? I mean, I'm sure. I mean, you're literally on the other side of the country. The stream never started for you. What the fuck? Or maybe it didn't. Yeah, I mean, you're literally on the opposite coast of the country right now, Brooke. So, yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. Stream never started. That's so weird. Anyone else have that problem in chat? Anybody else? Looks okay from the back end. It doesn't look any weirder than normal. Scott, hey. Oh. Oh. As you said earlier. Oh. How are things with you, Mr. Hawk? I know there's you've had stuff. Are things starting to smooth out? I know you're back streaming pretty regular, so that's good. Glad to see that. One of these days, it'll be at a time when I can actually pop in for a minute. But yeah, good to see you back gaming on the as my grandson calls it, the TubeU. That's what I'm gonna be calling it from now on. By the way, it's no longer YouTube, it's TubeU. My 3-year-old grandson has spoken, so let it be written, so let it be done. Welcome to TubeU, everyone. I saw on the. Oh yeah, definitely, sir. Delta Dan, what's crapping, man? How you doing, brother? YouTube has been weird today. Like, earlier I saw on the Twitter that YouTube was down. I'm like, what the fuck? So I clicked over, and then like a few posts later, I saw an actual YouTube account. You're like, you're having trouble playing videos. We're working on it. Yada yada yada. So I'm like, well, shit, is this an issue for me? So I popped off of the X, popped onto the TubeU, and it was working just fine for me. So evidently, that wasn't a global catastrophe, nor was it at least in my case, a Michigan catastrophe. But that was cool. Bop, bop, bop. You tried watching Star Wars. You tried watching Theory's new video, and YouTube crashed, or TubeU crashed out on you. Huh. Well, I don't know. I have no idea what the distribution of that was. I feel like since most of the accounts I follow are like on one coast or the other, I wonder if it was a coastal problem and we here in the Midwest were just. I don't know. I never had any problems with TubeU today, so I'm cool. TubeU is cool for me today. Weird ass fucking new browser features fucking me up. Yeah. I'm just looking at the inappropriately filmed trailer for Daredevil Born Again Season 2. Like a minute 20. Really want to show it to you guys. But since I can't get demonetized, they'll probably just take that motherfucker right now. Murder my stream. Kind of cool, though. Griff, what's going on, brother? I wish I could show you. I'm gonna be getting up to hijinks. That is for sure. Should I risk it, chat? Maybe if we play it in small chunks. I really want to. It's only got a few more seconds. This song. Okay. So we're going to watch this with pauses, chat. Okay. But this is the inappropriately filmed Daredevil Born Again Season 2 trailer from last weekend's New York Comic Con. I should probably do that. Yeah. All right. Ready? What do you mean, what? Yeah. Anyway, check this shit out. We're going to be pausing it every 8 to 10 seconds, just so you know.
Probably all want to see the trailer, right?
Yes, we want to see the trailer, you motherfucker.
All right.
Okay. Hey, Kern. Ooh. Hey, look, there's Bullseye getting a frozen drink. Is that Matt and Karen? Ooh. Fisk and Vanessa. Looks like Matt and Karen are going to be getting close this season. This was leaked on purpose by Disney. I mean, that's entirely possible. It's not like they don't need to build up hype for season 2 because, season 1 went so well. I mean, I liked it, but yeah. Overall, yeah, not a success. Anyway. Ooh. Well, so much for that tender moment. That got fucked up by a, what do you call that? Flashbang. Not that the Flash is doing anything to to Daredevil, but that bang really will. Pause. How many episodes were set aside for Matt to be lectured? Hopefully like 0 to maybe 1 at the most. Although I'm sure, I mean, it's not like Karen's never lectured Matt before, but she just does it differently and better. That's all. Oh shit, he's on a wanted poster? Matt Murdock is wanted. Hell yeah. There she is. Yeah. Jessica Jones up in this motherfucker. Ooh. And fucking people up with a whole sheet of plywood, it looks like. Ambush is what. Is that flashback foggy? Can't tell. So grainy. Fucking Twitter.
Sword?
Nope.
Or shovel?
Oh, never mind. That was Fisk's British dude and his fucking lackey. Okay. The one kid. Oh, you didn't know that? Oh yeah. Yeah. Christian Ritter. Official. Wait a minute, what the fuck? Is that Fisk in a boxing ring? Giving someone the Ivan Drago treatment? Yep. What was fist fucking up there? Oh no, there's flashback Foggy right there. Eldon Hansen. Is he giving Karen lessons? Like Bruce Lee and Sharon? Yeah. Can't see the back end. I don't know if I'm being copy struck yet or not. Are we still up, chat? Are we still alive? Has Liger got me in his sights? Or Feige? Okay, that was cool. Wish it wasn't so fucking grainy. I can't wait till a good version of it hits the internet, whether, planned or not. What'd you guys think of that? Still alive? All right, cool. What'd you guys think of that? I thought that was pretty cool. I thought it was pretty cool. Pretty cool. What'd you guys think? You like that shit? You like that? You like that? How you like that? You guys like that? I thought that was pretty cool. It's like Matt and Karen are on the verge of, if not going to be boinking. Daredevil smash again. Start calling him Matt Murdick. He'd be slinging that. And obviously Bullseye's on the loose. I don't know what the fuck Fisk is doing in a boxing ring, but obviously he's going to be fucking that one dude up. I don't know if we were supposed to be able to recognize him or not, because, again, that shit was so grainy. Anakin would have hated how grainy that shit is. It would have reminded him of sand. I thought that was pretty cool. Speaking of Marvel, you want to start with some Marvel? You guys got before we get into it, you guys got anything you want to, just chit chat about before we get into the goods? I do. Oh shit, I do. Yes, I do. Thank you. Anyway, circling back to probably 10 minutes ago, my birthday weekend. It was fun. Rob flew in from Vegas for the day on Saturday. Like literally, he flew in very early Saturday morning and then flew out very early Sunday morning. You all know him in chat as Robert Naples, so he flew in. That was super dope. That was a really good day. Sunday was my granddaughter's birthday, Athena. Well, her birthday party. She actually has the same birthday I do. Obviously, many years later, 38 to be exact. Right, 12. Yeah. So at her party on Sunday, at my day on Saturday, and if you weren't in Justin's chat last night, I had taken Monday off from my normal job. Gonna sit around on the couch all day with the remote in one hand and myself in the other. Good times. But unfortunately, life lifed. Some unexpected life, as life will do. And I ended up having a DoorDash on Monday. But you know what? That's okay because I made pretty good bank. And it wasn't like all day, all day. I still got to chill in the evening. So it was cool. Not exactly how I wanted to spend the day, but still not a bad day. And then now we're here. Damn right, Al Bundy except all the way in. I'm not stopping anything with my thumb and I won't go this deep in my pants. I'm like, you won't see my hand at all. Pants, hand, below. That kind of thing. All right. Let us begin. As previously mentioned, when we just watched that Daredevil trailer, New York Comic Con was last weekend. Many IPs, nerdy IP because it's Comic Con, had panels and presentations and stuff. Uh, the Invincible trailer was, or the Invincible is just going to be killer, brag, all that shit. There's a trailer out there. I could find it if I wanted to. I had it, then I lost it. I don't feel like finding it again. But Invincible looks lit as fuck. DC made a whole bunch of comic announcements talking about more of the Absolute line, their crossover DC KO event, which is basically like fucking Mortal Kombat for comic book characters, essentially. Uh, or for DC characters specifically. Although I think actually Sub Zero is going to be in that. So is Homelander and a few other people whose names escape me. So DC Comics fucking rocking. Marvel Comics ending the Ultimate line, ending One World Under Doom. What up, Executive Judge? How you doing, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. Oh yeah, the diner scene announcement. Yeah, that's like their thing. It's always their. Invincible's just gonna always do their intros to the next season in the burger joint. I believe that's their thing now. Yeah. So Marvel Comics ending shit. DC Comics throwing out all kinds of shit. Man, DC Comics is really. I don't know if they've taken over like full market share yet, but they're definitely eating into Marvel's market share. DC Comics is coming fucking hard, bro. Pause. Like to think the teaser is taking place in the aftermath of the Conquest fight. I am pretty sure it is. Not 100. Don't quote me on it, but I believe it is. So, but then, Jack, Marvel Television and Animation had a panel. Obviously, that's where that Daredevil trailer came from. But that wasn't the only thing. We shall now go over a summary of what happened with that via, well, which you can't fucking see, but this comes from CBR. You can see the R. So yeah, this comes from CBR. Everything Marvel Television and Marvel Animation revealed at New York Comic Con by Brian Cronin. At New York Comic Con, Brad Winderbaum, the head of streaming television and animation at Marvel Studios, and, in my mind, Kevin's most likely successor, and currently my personal choice, led a panel revealing a number of developments at Marvel, both in Marvel Animation and also Marvel Television. CBR was there at the panel to explain to you everything that was revealed at the event. Well, thank you, CBR. The event, hosted by Brandon Davis, currently a holder of 500 of Josh's dollars. Well, he probably already spent it, but he got 500 extra dollars from Josh. Was split into two sections. One for Marvel Animation, and then another for Marvel Television, the live-action series. Thank you for clarifying that. Yes. Well, I guess always anticipate stupid these days. There were trailers shown for all 5 series, and we'll discuss all 5 shows in their own section below. Before getting into that, though, it is worth quoting Winderbaum when he discussed the importance of Marvel's 85-year history when doing television series. So saith Brad Winderbaum, we're standing on that 85-year legacy. So many writers, artists, and filmmakers have brought these characters from one generation to the next. talk about making shows that can last multiple seasons, it's really about those character relationships that have been built over time. Whether it's Peter Parker and Lonnie Lincoln, aka Tombstone, or Matt Murdock and Wilson Fisk, Spider-Man, Tombstone, Daredevil, Kingpin. These are characters who challenge each other and force each other to grow, and that's what allows you to make multiple seasons. Item number 1 from Marvel Animation: Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 2. The first trailer was for Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 2. Damn. I wonder if I could have found a bootleg one of that one. Winterbaum introduced the trailer by noting, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 2 launches fall 2026. And it's an amazing show. It picks up right where the other one left off. Jeff Trammell, our showrunner, is really digging into the history of these characters, especially Peter Parker and his personal history. And when it bubbles up in the present day, that causes a lot of tension and anxiety in this ensemble, as you can imagine. It's kind of personified by this black, oozy substance that maybe some of you might be familiar with. And sure enough, at one point in the trailer, we see the Venom symbiote when Spider-Man is investigating Oscorp to check on Norman Osborn to make sure he isn't up to something bad. But of course he is. The trailer also shows the debut of Gwen Stacy and sees Dr. Octopus, Chameleon, and Scorpion. Ooh, we didn't see Chameleon in Season 1, did we? The bed arc was fun while it lasted. Yep. Was Chameleon in Season 1? I don't think Chameleon was in Season 1. Dr. Octopus was, and Scorpion was, but I don't think Chameleon was. Anyway, they're going to cause problems for Spider-Man. We also see that Nico Minoru is beginning to explore her magical abilities. The trailer ends with Spider-Man confronted by Blind Spot and Daredevil, who is, of course, voiced by Charlie Cox. What's Nico's fucking comic book moniker, her superhero name? Because I don't remember, but I know she has one. Anyone in chat? Do you know? If so, help me out. Throw it in there. That'd be really, really cool. X-Men 97 Season 2. Please don't fuck this up. Winterbaum introduced Eric Lewald and Julia Lewald, the creators of the original X-Men series. Homage to the Lewalds. Thank you for the original X-Men series. And announced that they were now executive producers of X-Men 97 as well. Okay, but are they involved executive producers, or are they just getting money? Because if they're actually like involved, that is a very good thing. As we who have watched the X-Men, I guess we'll call it now X-Men 92, was fucking dope. Winterbaum also confirmed that the show will have a third season, but first they revealed the trailer for the second season, which will come out in the summer of 2026. The trailer opened with flashbacks to Apocalypse's original appearance on the classic X-Men the Animated Series. Ooh. And then reveals that the X-Men have been spread out in time after the events of the first season's finale. Rogue, Nightcrawler, Beast, Xavier, and Magneto are in ancient Egypt. Yep, we got to see them meeting in Sabanur, while Cyclops and Jean Grey are in the distant future. Cyclops and Jean Grey appear to be starring in an adaptation of the miniseries The Adventures of Cyclops and Phoenix, which saw the two heroes raise Nathan Summers in the future. They are way in the future, if I recall correctly. The trailer also confirmed that Wolverine survived his near-death experience with Magneto. Yeah. Any of y'all ever read the comic issue where that happened? That shit was nuts. And he and Morph appear to be teaming up with Sabretooth and Lady Deathstrike in the present of the series, which means it's the 1990s. Bishop notes that they have to bring the X-Men back to the 90s. That's dope. There are then quick glimpses of various other characters, like the 1990s government strike force version of X-Factor, Psylocke and Archangel. Ah, so Archangel, not just Angel. Okay. Polaris, Danger. Ooh. Danger. So they're gonna give the Danger Room as personification? Really? That's fun. Plus, Jean and Cyclops wearing versions of their new X-Men costumes from the iconic Grant Morrison and Frank Whiteley run on the series. Sunspot and Jubilee continue to spend time together, and Sunspot rocks a version of his 1990s X-Force costume. Omega Red makes an appearance, as does Colossus. Okay, well, sounds good on paper. What do you guys think? How do you feel about this summary of the trailer for X-Men 97 Season 2? Actually, how'd you feel about the summary of the trailer for Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 2? Before we go any farther, any thoughts on those two trailer descriptions, chat? They sound cool. They look good in words on the screen here. But what do you guys think? Yes, Brooke, he did also show up in the finale. In the present day, in the wreckage of Genosha. And he found something related to Gambit, which instantly made most of us think that Gambit's going to become a horseman. Or if not an actual horseman, he's going to be working for Apocalypse in some form or fashion. He will have been resurrected and corrupted by Apocalypse. At least that's what they made it look like. That was the hint I feel they were giving. Excuse me. Any thoughts, chat? Well, Delta Dan and Griff, you can share your thoughts between games. Sorry, hangnail. All right, let us move on then. Daredevil Born Again Season 2. Okay. All right, you know what? I know we watched that trailer, but it was so fucking grainy, I'm going to read the description anyway. One of the most anticipated trailer debuts was Daredevil Born Again Season 2. Double D's, baby. And the trailer was filled with great bits, like Matt Murdock and Karen Page getting back together, while Bullseye continues to walk free in the city. Yes, getting frozen orange or peach flavored drink. After Matt and Karen share a tender moment together, their happiness is ruined when Matt is hit by a sonic weapon of some sort. But, okay, big bright light followed by large noise. It's called a flashbang, CBR. Come on. Not that the Flash will bother Daredevil, but it would definitely bother anyone else in the room with him. But that fucking explosion, that'll bother the fuck out of him. We saw the return of Kristen Ritter's Jessica Jones. Hell yeah. As well as the introduction of Matthew Lillard's mysterious new character. See, I didn't even recognize him. That shit was so grainy. Daredevil is involved in at least one costume brawl with cops who we see walking around the city in their armored uniforms, and he smiles maniacally at Wilson Fisk's task force. Wilson Fisk's task force. Those are the words. Even as we see that the task force has a number of people in cages in one of their bases. Well, we saw that at the end of Daredevil Season 1, did we not? Pretty sure we did. It's an intense trailer, and when Charlie Cox was brought out following the trailer, he was asked about the downbeat ending of Season 1, and he noted, the great thing about that ending, when we shot it, was I was like, well, we haven't wrapped anything up yet. Surely we're going to do it again. We love making the show. It's a joy. It's such a wonderful team. We all get on so well. Oh, that's a very British phrase. I keep forgetting he's British till he talks. I keep forgetting Andrew Garfield is British till he talks. Yes, we all get on so well. Shockingly, Vincent and I are very good friends off screen, so the longer we get to keep making it, the better. Yeah, that was shitty, but deal with it. Kristen Ritter then came out as well, and she talked about working with Cox again. Pause. Honestly, she says, we kind of looked at each other like, can you believe this? It was surreal, but also as if no time had passed. I love Charlie so much as a person and acting with him. I always have. I love playing these characters. It felt big and celebratory and larger than life. Well, we also are happy to have you back, Ms. Ritter. 100%. What do you guys think about that before we get into this? Oh, we're definitely seeing him in the black suit. Big old double D's on his chest. Big old double D's. Because most people agree. Double D's rule. Yep. All right. Now we come to it. Wonder Man, which for some unknown reason has been delayed to January of next year. I don't understand it. This thing's been in the fucking can for years. We're on the verge of being rid of this Phase 4 and 5 bullshit. It was promised to be done at the end of 2025, but now these dickbags have pushed this show till January. Why they got to start the year off like that? Why can't they just get it all done, get it over with, drop this motherfucker in December like they were gonna? No. They have to push it to January. And then they're going Netflix with that motherfucker and they're dropping all the episodes at once. So they're not going week to week with that puppy. Sure shit ain't watching all episodes in one night. I think we may be on our own with the move of Wonder Man and them going Netflix with it. Honestly, chat. I think it'll be every basement crew member for themselves when it comes to Wonder Man. Anyway, to be fair, Wonder Man is the only one of the 5 series where Marvel has officially released the trailer that it debuted at New York Comic Con. You can see it above. We already saw it, and it was lame as fuck. Star Yahya Abdul-Mateen II explained how he got involved with the series. He's a hell of an actor. Why did he do this shit? My first introduction was a conversation with Destin. That would be Destin Daniel Cretton, the executive producer of the series, and also director of Shang-Chi, and now Spider-Man Brand New Day, who is amazing. I've wanted to work with Destin since I saw Short Term 12. I have no idea what the fuck that is. Obviously, actually, it could be a TV show. No clue. We sat down a few years ago and I said, look, I want to eat a hamburger. I wanted to play a dude who can eat a hamburger because I had been very serious over in the DC world, which was great, but I wanted to do something different where I could live and breathe and smile, be nervous, be happy. Destin made it happen. I'm excited to be over here on the Marvel side. All right, someone refresh my fucking memory on what he was doing with DC. I know he's been in some stuff. And I know I've seen him in stuff. I like him. No, he wasn't Hawkman, was he? That was fuck, I can't remember. Damson Idris, right? No. Was he Hawkman? In Black Adam? Is that who he was? Am I right, Chad? Am I wrong, Chad? Yeah, if he was Hawkman, I'm totally down with him as an actor. I don't know about the fucking show. Co-star Ben Kingsley also spoke of the importance of Cretton while detailing his long history of playing. What the fuck? You know, for journalistic websites, have they not heard of fucking spell check? With his detailing his long history of playing Trevor Slattery / Mandarin, who was never the Mandarin, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Quote. Kevin Feige came to my house and explained the duality of Trevor and the Mandarin, which to me as an actor was threatening, as you can imagine. Wow, Feige went literally to fucking King. Well, it's fucking Ben Kingsley. Of course, Ben Kingsley. Then I graduated to the short film All Hail the King, written and directed by Drew Pearce, which was a total surprise. Then Destin phoned my home in England and asked if I'd considered joining the Shang-Chi film. Kingsley said Wonder Man, but presumably meant Shang-Chi based on the timeline. I didn't answer the phone. Trevor Slattery answered the phone, and Destin was laughing so much it was a joy to hear him. And then the 4th incarnation with Dear Yaya. To answer briefly, it's been a total surprise. But all the good things that come to actors, if we're really centered in our craft and love our craft, life's a total surprise after surprise. It's a gift that keeps on giving, as my friend Pierce Brosnan once said to me. Pierce Brosnan is dope. But yeah, so Wonder Man in January. Not doing a watch party for it. It's not coming out weekly. Watch at your leisure, I guess. Vision Quest. The presentation ended with a look at the upcoming Vision Quest series, so I guess that is the actual title. We had a full article on that trailer here at CBR, so just read that article. Okay. Paul Bettany was at the panel, though, so we'll add his explanation of the series. Red Vision gave Vision all of his memories, including those from within the Hex, but White Vision is having real difficulty connecting to them. He has the memories, but not the emotions. That's the journey of White Vision in the show, his attempt to connect to those memories and who he was. So the series is mostly in White Vision's head. That's been speculated on as soon as they were announcing human versions of all the AIs, where he interacts with human versions of all the various AIs we have met in the MCU over the years, including Jarvis, of course, Friday, Edith, and of course, Ultron, played by James Spader in the flesh. I fucking love James Spader. I'm a Spader stan. I'm happy. The series also introduces a young adult version of Tommy, Vision and Wanda's other son, the brother that Billy was trying to find at the end of Agatha All Along. The series will debut in 2026. So, I like the premise. I love the showrunner, Terry Matalas. We had talked about a few weeks back that, according to Jeff Snyder, Marvel was so happy with the way Vision Quest turned out, they put him in the running for the Nova show whenever they fucking get around to that. Zero, welcome, clickbait. Well, yeah, all YouTube videos are clickbait. Where the fuck you been? All right, so that's it on the Marvel Television and Animation panel from New York Comic Con. What do y'all think? What do you all think of that? Any of that? Thoughts, questions, concerns? Oh, that's right. He was Black Manta. That's who he was. Not fucking Hawkman. He was Black Manta. Okay. Well, I liked him as Black Manta, too. Yeah. Okay. So he was Black Manta. That's cool. That's cool. So any thoughts before we move on, chat? There we go. Yes, no, maybe so? All right. So, next up, we will go to the thumbnail story. I'm saving other things for later, but I wish to talk about this shit. So, as we have discussed on a few different streams, Warner Brothers is up for sale. Paramount was announced that they were putting together a bid. Uh, Paramount Skydance Paramount, however you want to put it, led by David Ellison. And it also recently came out that their initial bid was rejected. However, they being Paramount Skydance, are still, at least currently, in the lead to be the ones who purchase Warner Brothers. Now, just like with any merger, changes are made in the corporate structure, in executive positions, all the way down to who fucking delivers the mail. from the mailroom. Like, shit happens, redundancies are eliminated, thousands of people are laid off. It gets kind of ugly. Um, One of the big concerns, at least for we nerds, is if Paramount buys Warner Brothers, what will happen with James Gunn? Will they keep him? Will they can him? Well, according to Matt McGloin of Cosmic Book News. Now, before I go into what Mr. McGloin said, let me preface. Matt McGloin has gotten some scoops right. He's gotten a couple big motherfucking scoops right, okay? But overall, his record is fairly spotty. What up, Soupy? I'm about to explain, man. I'm about to explain. But thanks for coming. Um, so, so he's gotten some big motherfucking things right, but overall, his record is suspect. Like in the broad sense, when you combine all of it together, there are more people that are more reliable. And also, uh, he is one of those people that's oh, dude, you don't have to apologize. I appreciate you coming when you can. Pause. Yeah, no, dude. What if life dictates to you that you can't come to the basement, then that's the way it is, bro. I'm never mad. You handle your business, bro. Come when you can. Pause. We'll be right here waiting, as the song says. Anywho, yes, back to Mr. McGloin. Yeah, spotty overall record, and on top of that, he is one of those individuals who enjoys uh, complaining about woke, enjoys praising the current administration. Um, so at least, you've been around and you know that on top of his spotty record reduces his credibility with me even more because he's a fucking snowflake. That being said, and again, I do say he has gotten some big shit right. So credit where it's due. He got some big motherfucking shit right. According to an article he wrote the other day that I'm not going to be reading because it's full of a bunch of snowflake anti-woke bullshit. His sources tell him that should Paramount succeed in purchasing Warner Brothers, that David Ellison, the owner of Paramount Skydance, really good friend of Trump, will be canning James Gunn, and then putting Mike DeLuca, who along with Pam Abdi just got re-upped over at Warner Brothers. Not a big surprise considering Warner Brothers fucking popped off this year. But yeah, according to him, Gunn gone because Gunn woke, and DeLuca will then be in charge of DC. This is according to Matt McGloin. Does this make sense? From his perspective, it actually kind of does. Ellison is very conservative. He is close buddies with Trump. James Gunn is fairly outspoken. That one quote about what was it? Something about racists and being polarizing, and he doesn't care if he's polarizing to them because fuck them. Basically, is how it went. Yeah. So Gunn does come off for the most part as being left leaning. David Ellison is very right leaning. So McGloin is predicting that Gunn will be gone should Paramount successfully purchase Warner Brothers. Now, is this official? No. Is it likely? According to Matt McGloin, yes. and it does make sense, and not just because of Gunn's political leanings or the kind of messaging he chooses to put in his movies. Um, there's also the fact that Gunn's DC projects to date have not been world beaters. Creature Commandos, the technical premiere of James Gunn's DCU, the technical first project, did not chart. I enjoyed it, but not a lot of people watched it. Then we had this past July, Superman. Good movie, fun movie. I really liked it. A lot of people really liked it, but it, what was it? It only made between 600 and 700 million. I don't remember the exact figure, but it only made 600 or 700. So not a world beater. Did make more than Fantastic Four by over 100 million. So it did do that. Did not make Man of Steel money. Yeah, no, it definitely should not have been first. Super, you are correct. So it did okay. It did well enough to make Warner Brothers and DC happy, but it was not a world beater. It did well enough, but it didn't crush. And anyone who says it did is engaging in willful ignorance and self delusion. And then we have Peacemaker Season 2 most recently. And I don't know if y'all heard. I don't know if y'all heard about this the other day. But turns out that Peacemaker Season 2 finale went over like a fart in an elevator, basically. I woke up the day after that premiere to see my timeline, which obviously is very nerdy, chock full of people ripping the shit out of that season finale. Like left, right, and center. I even saw some accounts that are normally big time gun defenders going, what the fuck was that episode? So, plus James pulled it out of the theaters for Peacemaker. Yep, that is true. That is true. Um, yeah, many people were disappointed in that finale, Soupy. I saw it all over the place. So, like, and again, even pretty staunch James Gunn defenders were like, he kind of fucked that one up. Like, even they had to admit he fucked that up. Okay, so when you put all that together, setting the political bullshit aside, um, that's not the best resume to be putting forth to keep your job under new ownership. And then, what do we have coming up? We have Supergirl next year. We have Lanterns next year, which seems pretty cool. And then we have Clayface next fall. And then Man of Tomorrow in 2027. Those are the next 4 projects. Yeah, 3 movies, 1 TV show. That are going to be coming out from DC over the next 2 years. Supergirl, which I think is going to be cool, but, not big on the general audience's radar. Millie Alcock is, and if I was them, I would market that movie from the angle of, hey, the bad bitch from House of the Dragon is Supergirl. Right? I think that might be like you market her and then you market the absolute fuck out of Momoa as Lobo. Because let's face it, the biggest draw of that movie isn't the fact that it's a Supergirl movie. It isn't Millie Alcock from House of the Dragon. It's Jason motherfucking Momoa. That dude puts butts in seats. He puts butts in seats from all over the place. He's a big time dope ass action star, so he puts dude butts in seats. We've all seen him shirtless, so we know he's going to be putting ladies' butts in seats as well. And he's going to put nerd butts in seats because people that know DC know Lobo and fucking love Lobo. right? So, um, outside of that, you got that. Then you got Lanterns. Again, now that seems dope. You got Hal Jordan and you got Jon Stewart on Earth investigating a murder, which will somehow, by the end of that show, tie into the overall story. Even though Gunn said we don't have to watch TV shows to know what's going on in the movies and vice versa. Um, oh, yeah, and all that talking about how you need to watch Peacemaker Season 2 because it connects so much to Man of Tomorrow. And I don't can anyone who actually watched that show verify that like sets up Man of Tomorrow in any way, shape, or form? Because I have no clue because I didn't watch that shit. I didn't watch season 1. I didn't watch season 2. Apparently, there's not going to be a season 3, at least not for quite some time. And even if there is, I ain't gonna fucking watch that. Um, but yeah, so even from a business standpoint, and depending on how all those perform, his future could be up in the air just based off of that, right? So those are the points. Only the final minute or so. Lame. Yeah, those are the points in favor of Gunn being gone. Should Skydance / Paramount buy, Warner Brothers Studios? Now, as there generally is, there is another side to this discussion. There's another point of view to be had. And in this case, the opposing point of view is given by one Jeff Snyder. He titles this article Earth to Hollywood. David Ellison is not going to buy Warner Brothers, so don't believe the media hype. Interesting. Let's see what he has to say. For the last few weeks, I've watched the media have an absolute meltdown over the possibility that David Ellison, the new Lord and Savior of Paramount, is going to buy Warner Brothers. However, everyone I've spoken to about this potential deal is skeptical that it will ever come to fruition. Yes, the media has a duty to report when Warner Brothers chief David Zaslav engages Goldman Sachs to look for a buyer, just as the New York Post has a duty to report when Ellison reaches out to private equity firms, including Apollo Global Management, in the hopes of raising enough money to make a bid for Warner Brothers. Right now, Ellison and his backers have proposed a $60 billion offer that would value Warner Brothers at $22 to $24 a share, while Zaslav is looking for more like $30 a share or something in the ballpark of $75 billion, I'm told. Well, that explains why the initial offer for Paramount was officially rejected the other day. Reporters love to one-up one another, which is how meetings with bankers can quickly turn into Paramount, quote, poised to buy Warner Brothers, igniting panic around town. Zaslav didn't mind such rumors because Warner Brothers' stock price skyrocketed, and it was a signal to all buyers to start kicking the tires now in the hopes of sparking a bidding war. We might sell to Ellison on the cheap if one of you doesn't step up soon before we split the company between film and TV production and linear networks next spring, is what Zaslav seemed to be signaling to both the industry and Wall Street. However, if you ask the reporters writing these stories and the editors crafting those headlines, I bet very, very few actually believe such a deal will ever happen. I'm not alone in this thinking, as Rick Ellis is also calling bullshit on this deal in his newsletter Too Much TV, where his October 9th column was titled, Don't Believe Everything You Read About a Paramount Skydance Warner Brothers Discovery Merger. One of Deadline's own financial sources noted that there aren't a lot of companies that want to buy declining assets, which is what Warner Brothers linear networks are, and noted that shareholders, therefore, will be much more focused on certainty than on some fiction of fake buyers and corporate splits. The key words there are fake buyers, which is exactly what I perceive Ellison to be, at least right now. Of course, Ellison is no dummy. He's a brilliant businessman, so if he can get his hands on an underpriced asset, he'll surely try. But there's a reason he didn't offer $30 a share. I think he was just doing his friend Zaslav a favor by fanning the flames of a potential sale. It's either that or Ellison truly has a wandering eye, and after just a few months of owning Paramount, he's already checking out the hot girl, Warner Brothers, who's looking for a new sugar daddy. This newsletter was among the first Hollywood outlets to suggest that Ellison would make a fine leader of Warner Brothers, but that was when the Paramount deal was dragging out, and I thought he might be better off walking away from the deal and pivoting to another studio. But what would Ellison need with two movie studios? I know he has said that he'd want to make more movies, not less, but I'm not sure that more movies is the answer, no matter how much the town could use a production boom. I think a combined Paramount Warner Brothers studio would make fewer movies, but they'd feature bigger budgets and top talent. That would lead to better movies in theory, because that mega studio would be able to compete with Netflix, Apple, and Amazon for the town's prime packages. Perhaps Ellison looks at what Jay Penske has been doing with entertainment publications and wants to replicate the same business model. He would be alluding to the fact that Penske Media owns all the trades. What up, Brutal? Perhaps the plan is to buy Warner Brothers and, rather than merge it with Paramount, operate the two studios side by side in a strategic partnership with one another. Sure, it would give Ellison a larger market share, but I'm not sure what the benefits would be of owning two movie studios, since the movie business isn't exactly thriving right now. That's fucking fact. Ellison is already preparing to lay off 2,000 people at Paramount next month, and he'd have to let go of just as many people, if not more, if he took over Warner Brothers. He might also have to let go of one of the studio's spacious lots, as both could possibly be run from a single location. Of course, the FCC would likely stop such a deal in its tracks, which is why I think Warner Brothers' next owner will be a tech giant like Apple or Google. Here is where I 100% disagree with Jeff. And here's why. And we are going to go back to politics real quick on this. If David Ellison, friend of Trump, wanted to buy Warner Brothers Pictures run by David Zaslav, friend of Trump, and the FCC chairman is appointed by Trump, who is friends again with both Ellison and Zaslav, the FCC ain't going to stop shit. Like, Trump has already been out on Truth Social, praising David Ellison, saying, his buying a Paramount was going to be a boon to that and to CNN. And, he loves him some Ellison. So, yeah, the FCC would not stop that deal. They would probably expedite that motherfucker in all actuality. Continuing, though. Amazon could always throw its hat in the ring, but Amazon needs to start monetizing the MGM library it just bought for $8 billion. The company's second biggest acquisition ever, and a fraction of the price of Warner Brothers, before it takes the plunge and buys Warner Brothers for $75 billion. Why would Amazon even want to do this after buying MGM? It wouldn't. Likewise, Ellison has to fix what's so deeply broken at Paramount before he can run into the burning building that is Warner Brothers. That effort will take years, just like it took Zaslav years for Warner Brothers to deliver a year like 2025, chock full of big hits. This isn't football. Great coaches can come in and turn a program around in the span of a single season, but it takes years to develop a slate of original movies and see that slate pay off. Paramount's own employees are already in open revolt regarding the studio's stance on Israel, and Paramount also recently announced it will shut down MTV's European channels, so who knows how much longer MTV will last in America. If it weren't for South Park and The Daily Show, Comedy Central would probably disappear too. It's amazing. He will acknowledge all the political stuff in this paragraph, but still think the FCC would block the sale. Come on, Jeff. Ellison needs to get his own house in order before turning his attention to other acquisition targets. Yeah, well, we'll see. Does Disney's big $70 billion acquisition of 20th Century Fox look like a smart deal in hindsight? It worked on the TV side, but I'm not sure there are enough Alien and Predator projects to cover that math. And who knows if James Cameron even makes a fourth Avatar movie, let alone a fifth. The X-Men franchise is up next, and we'll see how that goes for Disney. The point is that bigger doesn't always mean better. I suspect Ellison knows this deep down and will ultimately build a better model. Ellison got his hands on a broadcast network when he acquired Paramount, but what would he gain from a deal for Warner Brothers, even if he kept the studios separate? Would he bundle the two streamers, Paramount Plus and HBO Max? Even if he combined the two, an HBO CBS streamer wouldn't exactly be a Netflix killer. Combined, they would be nearly as big as Amazon and Disney, though there's obviously a lot of overlap among subscribers, so it wouldn't really move up in the overall ranking. The trades speculate that if Paramount did buy Warner Brothers, Zaslav would be out, whereas he might be asked to stick around if Netflix bought the studio. But Netflix's Greg Peters noted that big media mergers don't have an amazing track record over time, and that Netflix leadership comes from a deep heritage of being builders, not buyers. Apple's Eddie Q told Puck's Matt Bellany the same thing, that Apple doesn't slap its name on products made elsewhere. Sony doesn't have the capital to get the deal done on its own, so they would need a partner, while the FCC would surely stop a Comcast deal in its tracks, just like Paramount. I will buy the Comcast one, or explain why they would love the Paramount deal and probably expedite it. Naturally, now that Ellison is an M&A expert, he thinks he could get all the regulatory approvals and close his deal within 6 months, but I'm not so sure. Ellison may think he's the only buyer interested in Warner Brothers right now, but I'm betting that Zaslav has a wild card up his sleeve. For example, could a kooky tech magnate like Elon Musk buy Warner Brothers? Please, God, no. He already owns Twitter, so what would prevent him from buying a movie studio? I mean, technically nothing, but please, God, no. Sure, his own social media platform will likely explode with people bitching about it, that's for fucking sure. But Zaslav has never cared about public sentiment, and Musk has a bottomless pit of cash to entice shareholders. Zaz might even be able to convince Musk to keep him around. I mean, let's not underestimate the weird competition that surely exists between all of these billionaires. Ellison and Musk are pals, and they both have the means to buy and trade movie studios like billion-dollar baseball cards. No matter who Zaslav sells Warner Brothers to, I don't think it'll be the expected choice. I think it'll be a punk rock pick, to quote the studio's latest Superman movie. Speaking of which, there's speculation that if Warner Brothers is sold, James Gunn and Peter Safran would be stripped of their positions running DC Studios, which would fall under the auspices of Mike DeLuca. Again, referencing that Matt McGloin article. What up, C-Dub? No, we haven't finished Gen V yet. Next episode, watch party, is tomorrow night at 9. Yeah, so referencing the aforementioned article from Cosmic News and Matt McGloin. I find this suggestion patently absurd, as I think buyers would want someone like Gunn in charge of DC, who would be the alternative. Superman performed well enough to justify Zaslav's big bet on Gunn, whose main liability, his mouth, that's for fucking sure, will likely be minimized next year, as he didn't direct Supergirl, Clayface, or HBO's Lanterns, nor was he the on-set producer for any of them. Oh, Jeff, never underestimate the narcissism and ego and, frankly, anxiety of James Gunn. Hopefully, he'll see the spotlight to the filmmakers behind those projects and let them take center stage while he focuses on prepping Man of Tomorrow and plotting the future of the DCU. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know what the future holds for Warner Brothers, but Ellison can only be the Man of Tomorrow for one studio, and his new baby needs him focused on if he wants it to be one of the few legacy studios still standing when the dust settles in Hollywood. All right. So, that's what Mr. Snyder has to say about the potentiality of Paramount buying Warner Brothers. Now, he makes many, many, many good points. Obviously, I disagree with his thoughts on how the FCC would handle the purchase of if Paramount was purchasing Warner Brothers. Again, 100% disagree. The FCC would rubber stamp that deal like yesterday. And I also think he underestimates the acquisitiveness of David Ellison. Now, he made very good points that Ellison should be spending his time getting his new house in order before looking to buy yet another house. That is 100% logical, makes total sense, and it is what he should do. However, as has been already proven repeatedly, David Ellison's a bit of a cowboy. He just likes to do what he wants to do, and if he decides he wants to buy Warner Brothers, he's going to fucking do it, regardless of whether it makes sense in the long run, or whether it makes sense before getting Paramount in order. He's the kind of loose cannon that would do that shit. 100%. Well, in my opinion, anyway. So I don't think. I think Jeff is overestimating how much Ellison would rely on, actual logic by a little, not by a lot, but I will not go so far as Jeff as to say that won't happen because Ellison is smart enough to know that he needs to get Paramount in order before shopping around for more shit. Um, so I only push back on that a little just because of Allison's cowboy reputation. And again, as for the FCC's role, they ain't gonna stop shit because they're all buddies. Ellison, Zasloff, Trump, and of course the commissioner of the FCC will do whatever the fuck Trump wants, and Trump will want that shit. Again, he's already been on social media repeatedly glazing the Ellison family, father and son, father Larry, son David. So, is McGloin right that Gunn would be canned if Paramount did buy Warner Brothers? Jeff presented some points in favor of them not. On the other side, McGloin presented some points in the favor of them doing so. It all boils down to a couple things. One, would David Ellison let his stances guide him into whether or not he keeps James Gunn around? Would he let his business sense make that determination? If he lets his business sense make that determination, Jeff's probably right. If he lets his other sensibilities make that determination, McGloin is probably right. I think that there will be a very large temptation for David Ellison to can James Gunn based on his sensibilities, political wise, cultural wise. But I do think if Supergirl pops off, if Lanterns pops off, if by some fucking miracle Clayface pops off, and if Man of Tomorrow pops off, if Gunn's making bank, I think the dollars will be louder in David Ellison's ears than his leanings. But I think his leanings will be loud if the DCU is not like killing it by the time that deal, if it happens, goes through. So yeah, kind of riding the fence on that, but that's because there are multiple possibilities, and right now they're all fairly equal. There are variables yet to be determined that will aid in a more accurate prediction of his behavior. That's just the way it is. Predictions are always inaccurate and vague with a lack of detail. Once more details come out, they can then be refined and potentially become much more accurate, which is where we are standing with this right now. A, we don't even know if Paramount's going to buy Warner Brothers. Don't know if someone, as Jeff suggested, will come from out of the shadows and be like, boom, it's ours. Of course, that's assuming the FCC would approve whoever that person is. That'll depend. But right now, I disagree with Jeff. A, when it comes to flat out saying that Paramount will not be buying Warner Brothers, I think that's a bit of an overstatement. I still think it's a bit more likely than not, honestly. Therefore, I do think that Gunn's job is potentially on the line. Now, would that make business sense? I don't know. It really depends on how the DCU is performing. Uh, would it make sense from the rest of the considerations that have been brought up so far? Yeah, it would make a shit ton of sense. I mean, as Jeff mentioned, outside of South Park and The Daily Show, Comedy Central will probably be toast. Because really, those are the only two things that make it worth anything in the first place. Excuse me, I need to grab a beverage. Oh, brutal. C-Dub's got a fuck ton figured out. C-Dub, between games, you should. I don't know if Brutal's seen any of your theories regarding Gen V, but you should throw them back in the chat because they're dope. And in my opinion, pretty fucking feasible. So, will it happen? Maybe. I think there's a much greater chance of that happening. Oh, you nailed it. See, I haven't. We're watching the damn episode tomorrow night, you motherfuckers. Anywho, um, where was I? Right. Uh, yeah, I think chances are much greater than what Snyder puts them at. However, he does make a lot of good points. Many, many good points. So we obviously will see how this all plays out. What do you think, chat? You think Paramount's going to end up pulling it out? You think they're going to buy WB? And if they do, what odds do you get James Gunn surviving that purchase? Right now, it's all 50-50 for this guy. Yeah, I know. Super definitive, right? Yep. I, too, am a fence riding motherfucker. But that's only because I don't have enough information. As soon as I get enough data, I will hop off that motherfucking fence and plant my goddamn flag. But I need more data. As Robert Downey Jr. said in his Sherlock Holmes movie, data, data, data. I cannot make bricks without, or was it? I cannot make a wall without bricks. I can't make bricks without something. Anyway, I need data. That's the point. Info. Need the info. And that is true, brutal. I thought that fairly quickly, and if I thought of it, lots of people did. I mean, we are all thinking that's good. Mostly because that's what fucking burn victims look like. Anywho, what do you guys think? Brooke thinks they might buy WB, but do you think the odds of Gunn's job depends just on the DCU project success? I mean, that's what it should depend on. I will say that that's what it should depend on. The question is, will it? How obligated? See, like here's a question. Here's something I only just now thought of. How obligated to the current administration would David Ellison be if the FCC just rubber stamps it, puts it through? how obligated do you think David Ellison would feel, even if he liked what James Gunn was doing with the DCU, even if he thought it was successful? How much obligation do you think he would feel just to can James Gunn because politics? I will just say, based on what I've seen, there would be pressure. I would put lots of money on the fact that there would be pressure from on high, as it were. Less than 20%? Okay. I think it's a bit higher, personally. I think it's closer to 50, but I'm also cynical. 30 to 40. Okay. You don't think they would if he's bringing cash? No, that I agree with that. If he's bringing bucks, I think that would actually outweigh the political considerations. If he brings debt, yeah, yeah, yeah. I suppose in a way that literally does depend on the success of the DCU. It's what will be louder, the money or the politics. If there ain't enough money, politics are gonna fucking win. If there is enough money, that might just save his fucking job. Any more thoughts on the whole Paramount Warner Brothers gun dealio? Yeah, baby. C Dub, I don't buy it. If Capitals, someone else buys Warner Brothers, which seems to be inevitable, Gunn would only be fired if the new owners completely let DC go. What do you mean let DC go? You mean like sell it off? Or do you mean like let it go like someone lets their appearance go or something? Like what's the context with that, Dub? I think it's a terrible time for this to be in the media for a studio trying to rebuild itself from the ground up. I mean, there's also that. But then again, it's a terrible time for a lot of shit to be in media that's in media because we live in the attention economy now, and it's not about journalism, it's about generating social engagements. Now, I have a YouTube channel, I have a Twitter account, so it's not like I can, totally shit on the attention economy. I'm kind of trying to be part of it, to an extent. So, I can't totally shit on it, but then again, what I do is, I'm attempting to be entertainment, as it were. I'm not out here trying to be like a journalist. I'm not trying to do serious reporting. You know, I think journalistic outlets or outlets that claim to be journalistic uh, definitely need to be held to a higher standard than someone like myself. When it comes to trying to make a way in the attention economy. But that's just me. People hear this and question the faith they had, and the engagement drops as a result. If you're talking engagement with the IP, yes, I 100% agree with that. You ever get that fucking quick ear itch? Just like out of nowhere, all of a sudden it's like, and you go all Beavis. Fucking hate that shit, man. I fucking hate that shit. Wow, there's a chunk of people in here for like the next 30 seconds. First of all, welcome. Second of all, please hit the like. Third of all, if you haven't done so, please hit the subscribe and the bell. It'd be really, really cool of you to do that. Okay. You want to know how fast you can do it? Click, click, click. Actually, I did it wrong. Click, click, click. Done. Can't wait to see the next recasted Superman. I mean, I actually don't mind Corin Sweat. I think, well, excuse me, let me put it this way. He is a very good choice for Gunn's version of Superman. I'll put it that way. In terms of overall Superman, but for what Gunn wants to do with Superman, he is a really good casting, for sure. I have no idea. What direction would they go? He's fine, not great. 100%. There's some interesting people out there. I'd have to play around on Google for a minute, but I might be able to come up with some names. That's assuming I can find the motivation to actually check. That was me being sarcastic. It was mid, so you don't care either way. I mean, that is totally fair. That is totally fair. And see, just like that, I invite people to hit subscribe and literally lose half the viewers. Motherfucker. That sucks. Anyway. Wow, Justin, you got here just in time. Any further thoughts on that whole mess, though, guys? Before we move into the last of what I want to talk about. Brutal. I'll always have Star Trek. Yes, that is true. Well, that depends. I know a few like really super dedicated Star Trek fans, and they fucking hate most of what Kurtzman has been doing over at Paramount. So. Are you talking like a certain era of Star Trek, like we talk about a certain era of Star Wars that we'll always have, or do you like the new shit? I've heard what's that one about where Pike's the Strange New Worlds? I've heard that's good. I'll say that. And I loved well, I enjoyed all of Picard, but I really fucking loved the third season. And just as a circle it back to Marvel, the guy that did, and I've mentioned this, but just in case anyone here did not know, the guy that show ran season 3 of Picard, which was by far the best fucking season of that show, is the one that's show running Vision Quest. Is the one that did, at least in Marvel's eyes, such a good job on Vision Quest that he's now in the running to show run the Nova show whenever the fuck they get around to doing that. Don't hit it all. New Trek is good, just different, but that Strange New Worlds is peak. That's what I keep hearing. That is what I keep hearing. I'll just say, I'll put it this way. Kurtzman, from what I've seen, is nowhere near as hated as KK, but he's definitely reached phase 4 and 5 Feige level. From what I've seen. In my own personal experience. That's all. All right. Didn't exhale at all. All right. Y'all ready? We are going to end the evening talking about Justin's favorite subject. You might want to put me on mute and just concentrate on how much Rivals is pissing you off, Jay, because I'm about to talk about some fucking Star Wars. Discovery was a shit show with great moments, but Strange New Worlds brings the old TNG vibes with new visuals. Really? Damn. I may actually have to go back and watch that shit then. Brutal. Okay. Cool. I actually like that. And I trust your perspective on that, sir. Okay. So, Justin, you've been warned. We're going to talk about Star Wars now. Oh, yeah. Forever ago. Anyway. Ready? Brace yourselves, chat. Everybody has a lead in for Strange New Worlds, but I wouldn't force anyone to go through that. Oh, the show. Okay. I got you. Yeah. I get, I guess they time traveled in Discovery. So, like, all right. Okay, good. Item number 1. And there's a couple reasons I want to talk about this. According to Forbes, y'all heard of Forbes? You know about Forbes? Have you ever read Forbes? Forbes is one of the, if not the leading publication when it comes to finance and financial news. Okay, like they're huge. If not at the tippy top, they are fucking close. They know their shit. Yeah, I know, right, brutal. So, so according to Forbes, and this was on Monday. I'm not gonna go through the whole motherfucking article though, because it is fucking long, and I don't want to. But according to an article in Forbes on Monday, Disney revealed that the total cost of Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker was. I'm gonna need to take a deep breath for this one. $593.7 million, making it the third most expensive movie in history. We don't need to look at that anymore. Well, actually, I mean, Daisy Ridley's fine. Anyway, yeah. Let me repeat that number. Jay, later. Yes. Instead of Star Wars pissing you off, you can go back and have Rivals piss you off, I guess. You should play your F1 game. That's what you should do. Yeah, play your racing game. That'll make you happy. Yes. Let me repeat that one more time. $593.7 million. They spent more to make The Rise of Skywalker than the Fantastic Four made at the box office. Forbes just want attention. I mean, I don't know about all that. They get attention because they're Forbes. By the way, how you doing, Kevin? Glad to see you. Yeah, that's right. It cost more to make than Fantastic Four made at the box office. Let that sink in for a minute. So, reason number 1 I want to talk about that. Oh my fucking God, $600 million to make that movie. Are you fucking serious right now? Like, I mean, obviously, they did that movie had a lot of work to do to try and overcome The Last Jedi, and it failed miserably, by the way. And they spent that's a lot of money to spend on what ultimately ended up while making over $1 billion in the box office. Gotta give it its flowers there. It did crack $1 billion in the box office. It made the least of the 3. The Rise of Skywalker made the least of the 3. And so they basically spent $593.7 million on what, in hindsight, excluding some of the financial metrics, some of the box office, or excluding the box office, was a failure. At least in terms of servicing the fandom, fixing what they broke in The Last Jedi. Failure. $593 million failure. From that perspective. If they fire gun this early, I think it will set DC superhero movies back to the George Clooney Batman era. Caveat being serious, dark, and realistic movies in their own universe. that is a very fair point. Maybe they just hire Reeves, at least to keep going on that. Yeah, it'd be honestly, I think it would be silly to fire Gunn unless the next three movies fail at the box office. Then honestly, I think Daddy's ass should get him. But cool part is outside of Man of Tomorrow, which is the fourth project in line currently. The next three, those being again Supergirl, Lanterns, and Clayface, Gunn did not write, Gunn did not direct. So that kind of gives them a leg up, in my opinion, right there. No more shared universe would be tragic for DC right now. I mean, I could go on a whole spiel about the shared universe thing, but I would just say yes, that is true. That would be true because DC's been going through it for so long. I want Gunn to succeed, even though he annoys the shit out of me. Even though he needs to shut the fuck up, get off the fucking internet, and go run his goddamn studio. Um, I still want him to succeed. I am ready for a vibrant, living, breathing, successful DCU. Just because I want good goddamn DC movies, first of all. Two, a thriving DC will help keep Marvel Studios from getting complacent again. Kevin, if Paramount or Comcast acquire Warner Brothers, no good will come from this happening. Well, someone's going to acquire Warner Brothers. Despite, I mean, Paramount is still in the lead. Paramount is definitely still in the lead. Even though their first offer got rejected, they are still in the lead because nobody else has actually made an offer. Netflix hasn't. Apple hasn't. Elon hasn't. Yeah. So, I mean, no matter who buys them, it's going to be very interesting to see how all that shit plays out. And of course, when it comes to DC or, Harry Potter, which is also a Warner Brothers property and also nerdy, as soon as we get solid info on what's going on with that, we will most definitely be talking about it, analyzing it, and either praising it or shitting on it as, as we do around here. We praise the praiseworthy and we shit on the booty cheeks. Reeve Dark, serious and realistic, no superpowers or magic or cosmic. Yeah, that would be kind of boring. I mean, I like a dark, gritty Batman, but, you still got to throw some fucking Solomon Grundy or some shit in there, you know what I mean? Brutal. I just want the same thing from all the big three: DC, MCU, Star Wars. Just give me cool, nerdy shit. It's really not hard. It shouldn't be. Shouldn't be. The problem is corporations let their considerations get ahead of like how they should do shit all too frequently. I want him to succeed as well, but I want DC to succeed in general, says C-Dub, and I agree with that. I need to see what a Gunn movie looks like without him as the writer, director, and producer. Just be the producer, you're the head of studio. Exactly! Shut the fuck up and go do your goddamn executive job, which currently you are failing miserably at. Like, executives are there to manage. They're there to delegate. They're there to make sure the big picture is being honored, but it's not your job to fucking write and direct everything. Now, don't get me wrong. this is a known fact. Feige is a micromanager. He is all up in the sets, right? But he's just producing. He's just being an idea man. He's like, how about we do it this way? You know, he's maintaining the overall story, but he's not like writing the fucking movie. He's not directing the fucking movie. He's not on social media constantly. He's not putting himself front and center in every goddamn bit of marketing that exists. He's not having his own podcast about one fucking show every week to go along with the show. Like your AMC and doing fucking those after shows for Breaking Bad and Walking Dead that the homie hosted. Goddamn name. Fuck. We all know what I'm talking about. Like, Feige ain't doing all that shit. He is a micromanager. He is up people's asses. But he stops right there. I mean, he does the few required fucking interviews that, a CEO has to do every once in a while, right? But that's all he does. The absolute minimum when it comes to that kind of shit. But he runs his studio and fucking Marvel Comics. Although if he doesn't knock off trying to get those synergized and just let comic book writers write dope shit, I'm going to get fucking annoyed. Just let that be said. I think Feige is by far the superior executive, but he is not perfect. I will never say that. Kirkman? Yeah. No, the dude that hosted the after show, the blonde dude from, he had a podcast with the word nerd in it. Fuck. What is his goddamn name? I can't remember. But yeah, no. I want Gunn to succeed. I want DC to succeed. I want DC to succeed more than I want Gunn to succeed. But right now, they're one and the same. So I have to root for them both. How the fuck did we get on this? We were talking about fucking budgets. Anyway, yeah, so Rise of Skywalker, $593.7 million. The other reason I wanted to bring this up, we seen anything Gunn has done without him being a writer, director, and producer? Brightburn. I think he was only a producer on that. Chris Hardwick. Yes, that dude. Thank you. You remember the name of his podcast, though? Oh, The Nerdist. The Nerdist. That's his podcast. Okay. That one I remembered on my own. Yeah. But yeah, the other reason I wanted to talk about that, other than the sheer ridiculousness of that amount, is the fact that Glazers, aka shills, love to try and argue for box office success of the movies that they love by citing the budgets given out in the trades. We've all seen it happen multiple times. But here's the thing. I never buy the budgets published in the trades because they come directly from the studios, and the studios motherfucking lie. Disney revealed today, this would have been Monday, that the total cost of Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker was $593.7 million. Guys. 2 days ago, in 2025, Disney finally revealed the actual production budget of The Rise of Skywalker. It's been 6 motherfucking years for us to get the real number. So you guys tell me, are you with me on never believing the budget published in the trades? Are you with me in believing it is always higher than what they say? for a variety of reasons. And why do I believe that? Because this is not the first example. This is just the latest example of the real numbers coming out months, if not years, later. Humans lie. It's a defense mechanism built into the code. That is 100% fact. You don't usually. But lie? I lie a fair chunk. Mostly to patients. Who are you hiring to write or direct for your DCU? We want to know because you're not hiring Reeves or his team of writers for whatever reason. Well, I don't think Reeves wants to run a whole studio. I think he would happily continue doing his, what does he call it? He uses an adjective and then crime saga. God damn it, what is that word? Epic crime saga. He'd be more than happy to continue his epic crime saga, but there's no way in fuck he wants to run a studio. They would have to find somebody else. Who? I have no candidates that come to mind right now. If you're asking me, I have no idea who I would hire currently. Maybe. Ooh, here's a thought. How fun would it be for Warner Brothers or DC or whoever buys Warner Brothers to pop on across town to the Marvel Studios offices and drop a motherfucking bag on Brad Winterbaum's desk? The current head of Marvel Animation and TV. Why has Gunn hired him and his team of writers? Well, why hasn't he? Because they work for DeLuca and Abney. He doesn't need to hire them. Reeves has a job already, and he doesn't have to answer to Gunn. It's less about why Gunn hasn't hired him. It's more about I don't think Reeves would accept. He already does not have to answer to Gunn. And given the fact that his movie outperformed Gunn's Superman, he has no reason to change that in any way, shape, or form. Brennan, what's happening? Yeah, it's not about Gunn choosing not to. It's more about Reeves being like, that'll never fucking happen. Got a dip. All right, man. Thanks for popping in. Thanks for hanging. Thanks for chatting. Have a good night, bro. Appreciate you. Right. Yeah, so never, ever, ever believe the initial reports on a production budget. Never, ever, ever believe the second ones or the third ones. Never believe the trades because they are the mouthpiece of the studio. You wait and you watch, and then eventually you get this. The truth, the real numbers always come out. So I just wanted to bring that up because that's, more evidence to my point of view. So that is that little tidbit. Fucking $594 million on the Rise of Skywalker. Fucking crazy. All right. So, next and finally. Damn it. I always forget. I want to try recording this shit in segments like Josh does and try that. But I keep forgetting to. Oh well. As much as I yap, I'd have to edit a shit ton, and I'm not good at that, so maybe it's better to just leave it this way. Anyway. As we talked about earlier, New York Comic Con happened this past weekend. And we talked about the Marvel aspect of it, but we haven't talked about Star Wars. So, Star Wars having to do with Lucasfilm publishing book comics. So they announced some projects. This one, believe it or not, in this list, why hasn't Gunn asked Reeves? Because there's no point. He's going to get told no. Gunn will be like, hey, man, why don't you come work for me? And Reeves will be like, here's my list of why. Reeves does not want to answer to Gunn in any way, shape, or form, and he currently doesn't have to. I mean, there are already plenty of rumors out there about people not wanting to come work for Gunn, directors and visionaries and shit, because they can't execute their vision. Now, I will say this one point in Gunn's favor. If you do work for Gunn, it would be like working for Feige. You do have to be creative enough to be able to adapt your vision to the overarching story because you would be working for a large corporate IP. And that's how that shit works. If you work for a large IP, you have to stick within the parameters of said IP. So that point is in Gunn's favor. That being said, a lot of directors don't want those restrictions. They find Gunn abrasive. These are rumors. So one second. Yeah, basically it boils down to the fact that there's a fair chunk of people that don't want to work for Gunn, and Reeves doesn't have to, so he's not gonna. All right. So Lucasfilm Publishing. Yeah. They talked about upcoming projects in the land o' literature. Now, this one, out of this whole list, I'm going to start with the cool one. Or at least the one that seems cool. This is Star Wars Visions Tsukumo, created by Aichi Shimizu and Tomohiro Shimaguchi. And the summary is as follows. With Star Wars Visions Volume 3 mere weeks away, the Lucasfilm Publishing New York Comic Con panel revealed Viz Media's new original Star Wars manga, Star Wars Visions Tsukumo, from the all-star creators of the latest Ultraman manga. In the wake of Order 66, a lone Jedi Knight accompanies a pair of droids to a rumored droid's paradise while being pursued by the Empire. Star Wars Visions Tsukumo by Aichi Shimizu and Tomohiro Shimaguchi, I guess, of Ultraman fame. That's actually a cool one, chat. What do you think about that one? Out of all these lame-ass announcements, like for example, a one-shot Jar Jar comic written by Ahmed Best featuring his two characters, Jar Jar and Kelleran Beck, on an adventure together. Or I should say co-written by, oh shit, I forgot his name. Ahmed Best in an actual comic. But that's an example of who the fuck cares. Gunn hasn't had anyone other than himself be the only writer, director, producer. Hence, I want to see what Gunn's DC looks like without him being anything other than a producer. Well, that's what next year is for. Supergirl, Lanterns, Clayface. No writing, no directing by Gunn. I mean, he writes the studios. He runs the studio. He's always going to have an executive producer. Like, that's just a given. You wouldn't even deal with Reeves, who's right there. C-Dub. My brother in Christ. It's not Gunn won't deal with Reeves. It's Reeves won't deal with Gunn. Reeves, who wants no part of Gunn. Gunn would love to have Pattinson. Reeves say no. Gunn would probably love to have Matt Reeves working directly with him, outside of being a producer on Clayface. That is, because Matt Reeves is a producer on Clayface. But yeah, it all comes down to Reeves say no. Jar Jar comic. A book featuring Rey and Leia called Legacy, which is set between TLJ and Skywalker. And then there's this one. New York Times best-selling author Ashley Poston presents Eyes Like the Stars, a Star Wars romance novel. The summary. Perhaps the surprise revealed panel was the announcement of the first official Star Wars romance novel. The official publisher's summary for the new book is as follows. New York Times bestselling author Ashley Poston is writing the first official Star Wars romance novel, Eyes Like Stars. New York Comic-Con got the first look at the dreamlike cover for the young adult novel, which features a couple in search of their happily ever after in the galaxy far, far away. The charming young adult romance, set about a year and a half before The Force Awakens, features all new characters, a mysterious artifact, and the fearsome first order. Okay, so first things first. When people hear romance novel, that conjures a lot of different images. Initially, the traditional romance novel conjures images of, hot dudes banging hot chicks with descriptions like, purple-headed warrior, mound of love pudding, milky globes, fondling, and, that kind of shit. That's what you expect from a traditional romance novel. Then, that's your base romance novel. They get more in depth and frankly weird from there. I believe an example that was brought up was a romance novel involving a lady banging up a minotaur. So, whatever. If that's your kink. That's your kink. Read all the books you want about that. I don't give a shit. But this is a young adult romance, so at least we don't have to worry about, minotaurs getting milked. Well, that's more of a D&D thing. Trying to think of an appropriate Star Wars analog to the minotaurs. Well, okay, Quarren kind of have squid heads, so we'll say it's not gonna be a romance novel involving Quarrens getting milked by Twi'lek. That probably does happen for the right price. We're not gonna be reading about it in this novel, but of course, they're putting out a. Delta Dan, what up? We're talking about the romance novel from Star Wars. We have established it's a young adult Star Wars romance novel, therefore there won't be any of that freaky shit that happens in adult romance novels. This appears to be more of a romance novel in terms of romantic feelings rather than romantic actions. Again, because it's being described as a young adult romance. So I doubt they're going to put any freaky deaky up in that bitch. However, it's a choice. And it does seal in the fact that Lucasfilm continues to try and cater to an audience that it's been attempting to create for 13 years in favor of, once again, ignoring the core audience that made that motherfucking franchise as huge as it was when Disney bought it for $4 billion in 2012. I don't know how much more official it can get that Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy, and frankly Disney, because Iger doesn't even mention Star Wars and could have stepped in a long fucking time ago. Who knows why he hasn't? No clue what the hashtag reasons are, but they're probably not fucking pretty. That's unpretty reasons are literally the only explanation that makes sense as to why he is completely ignoring Lucasfilm in general. It's less about the book itself, but more about kind of another bit of confirmation that Lucasfilm really doesn't give a shit about us. The fact that it's a young adult makes it a little bit better. To be perfectly honest and give it credit. It's a teeny bopper book, basically. So, I'm not tripping balls over this the way some people are. For me, this more falls into the category of kind of the sigh and the eye roll and resignation. I'm not fired up about it, but it's just kind of why? It's why exactly. It's for a book no one's going to read it anyway. To be honest, waste of paper, 100%. Yet they chose to waste the paper, and that's kind of the point. That's the main point, really. It's not that it's a young adult romance novel. That's not the main point. The main point is they continue to, as Josh likes to say, try and make fetch happen. Despite 13 years of evidence to the contrary, they are continuing to choose to ignore the core fan base and keep attempting to branch out to a audience that is much, much smaller than the one you are choosing to shun. So, I honestly don't care about a young adult romance novel. An adult romance novel, that'd be a different story, because now we're getting back into kind of Andor territory. You know what I'm talking about. So, young romance novel, better. Romance novel, in general, fucking pointless, fucking stupid. Not going to sell worth shit. I mean, they're literally betting on the name of Ashley Poston, who I'm sure is known in, some circle somewhere. I don't know who the hell she is. I'm assuming she's probably big in the overall genre of romance. Who knows what kind of romance she's written before, but I'm guessing she's kind of big in that, or they probably wouldn't have hired her. Is the book done? Yes, it is coming out summer of next year. Eyes like stars. I mean, yeah, they're obviously teenagers on this cover. They're obviously teenagers. Oh, look, put little typewriters in there. Yeah, they're obviously teenagers. So, like I said, worrying about any kind of traditional, what we think of as romance novels, freaky deaky, off the table. So that's a good thing. That's a very, very good thing. At least they didn't go that far yet. I mean, they kind of did with Andor, so we'll see. this could be something Star Wars was doing good, but we can't be doing niche shit right now. Well, yeah, that is 100% true. I mean, technically, we are getting mainline shit next year. I mean, she's got red hair, so she must be Mara Jade. Well played, sir. Well played. Excuse me. What the fuck was I saying? Oh yeah, right. You brought up neat shit. I mean, we are getting, kind of mainline shit next year. We're getting Mando and Grogu. Yay. But it is at least mainline shit. And Lauren and Grogu's mainline shit. We're getting that Maul show next year. Maul is definitely mainline shit. Ahsoka season 2. Ahsoka's mainline shit. So at least on our TV and a movie screen, we're getting mainline characters next year from Star Wars. So that's good. But again, do I care that it's a romance novel? Not really. Does the fact that it's young adult make it a little bit better? Yes. I am just really, even though I know it's going to continue to happen till there's a fucking regime change. And it really, I honestly, did y'all watch Nerd Theory on Monday? Honestly, even though I think overall Josh is mostly right, like I'm kind of like, just in terms of my own emotional stance, I'm closer to Theory than to Josh, honestly. Like I'm not full bored ass yawning ambivalence. But it's like it's more just fuck again instead of goddamn it fucking again. You know what I mean? Delta Dan's pumped from all in Ahsoka, but you'll watch Grogu Mando at some point. I'm gonna be in theater. I'm gonna go to the theater. I'm gonna watch that movie. I'm gonna go to a matinee. I'm gonna go to a matinee. I ain't paying full price for that motherfucking movie. That's for goddamn sure. But I am gonna go to the theater. I'm that guy. I will be seated. I will be that sucker. Yeah, it's it's less about what the novel is and more about what it represents, which is just an insanely stubborn, willfully ignorant fuck. I lost my sentence. God damn it. Shit. Gotta love being ADHD. You fucking lose your sentence before you even finish it. Give me a second. But yeah, it's just it comes across like disdain at this point. It's not just, okay, I'm going to expand the brand and, fuck the rest of you while I get this done. It's like continuing to ignore the evidence that that's not fucking working and hasn't been working for a fucking decade. Just engaging in the level of willful ignorance it takes to keep doing this shit comes across at this point as disdain. Like I feel like Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm have actual disdain for Star Wars fans like us. For whatever reason. Like that's what it's coming across to me as right now. And that is my problem with this book. It's less the book itself, although I think it's ridiculous and it's not going to sell and it's a waste of paper, as Delta Dan said. It's what it represents. And what it represents is an absolutely insane level of being out of touch, an insane level of willful ignorance, because that's what it takes to not see what's happening. Like you are literally willfully engaging in ignorance. Like it's not accidental ignorance, like you've never been exposed to the information. We're talking fucking willful ignorance at this point. a ridiculous level of willful ignorance. And frankly, for me, the feeling that they hold us in actual disdain, they like contempt, like they hold us in contempt. They have no respect for us. They don't want anything to do with us. They want to change this awesome thing that we love into this thing that a much smaller number of people love. Yeah, that's my problem with this book. Like I feel like a leper. I feel like Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy are treating me, us, like fucking leper. So, not the book itself, more what the book represents. That is my take on that shit, and also my last planned subject. What say you, chat? What do you think about that? Is there anything else that I did not speak on that you were curious about that you want to talk about? That's what I meant. I don't need to be on opening day. Oh, okay, yeah, fair. You meant in the theater at some point. You're not necessarily waiting for streaming. I mean, I'm not going to be there on opening day either. I'm going to try and go opening weekend, like maybe that Sunday. Catch a matinee and late Sunday morning, early Sunday afternoon, or mid Sunday morning even. JK just collecting the park's merch money and doing what she wants. I guess Iger's being complacent because they're probably turning profits. I mean, Marvel's turning much bigger profits even in their fall off. And he's all up their ass on investor calls and shit. So I think there's some dirty behind the business, which is why Iger doesn't even talk about Star Wars on shareholder calls. C-Dub, Josh is right, and I agree with a lot of what he's saying, minus the hyperbole. Fair. Totally fair. Disney stars openly promoted sexism, but it's sexism towards men, so it doesn't count. I mean, for some of them, yeah, definitely. The ones in charge, a lot of their biggest fans. Yeah, there's a lot of sexism coming back our way. For sure. But again, that goes right back to what I was saying about feeling like a leper, feeling like they hold me in us in contempt, that they have disdain for us. Yeah, sucks, man. Sucks, man. Why we need a regime change? We need to get back to the basics of Star Wars. Just give me a good story. It doesn't even have to be in the Skywalker saga, although personally, all the shit that Lucasfilm currently has been ignoring, like, you can give me all the Legends Luke that you want to give me. I will take that, no problem. When does Reva come back in Star Wars and Gaia and Marvel? I will say that Gaia never, and Reva actually still probably has a chance. Like that's the real of it. Gaia's never coming back, but Reva actually could. Look, Iger might not even care that much at this point about Star Wars. Yeah, well, see, the problem is why? Because he should be. I want to know why. He definitely should be. Like, Star Wars has been falling off harder than Marvel for longer. Like, they haven't put a movie out in 6 fucking years. How many movies? Forget TV shows. How many movies has Marvel put out since 2019? How many movies are in Phase 4 and 5? I don't know off the top of my head. But, you know. And in the same amount of time, Star Wars has put nothing in the theater. Just a bunch of mid to crap shows with a couple of exceptions. A few exceptions. I mean, mid to crap with a few exceptions is what we've gotten from both Marvel and Star Wars on Disney Plus. I mean, let's be real. They're both culprits when it comes to Disney Plus mediocrity. They both wallow in that shit. Again, with a few exceptions here and there. Marvel has more exceptions. Star Wars basically just has. Okay, so since Disney took over, season 7 of Clone Wars, Rebels, Bad Batch. Notice how my first 3 choices are animated. And Mando seasons 1 and 2. Yeah. Gaia wins the multiverse if she gets America Chavez and or Wanda powers. Doom would have no shot. What the fuck? Oh, Delta Dan. Don't you have a fucking Rivals game to go lose or something? Well, fuck it. Marvel East has more of a detailed long-term plan. Yes. Oh no, you're definitely right. That was a mistake. She tried to pass it off as like a Nike thing, and technically it was something having to do with Nike, but also stupid. Like, we've all heard of that book, um, how to win friends and influence people. Kathy's book would be how to do the exact opposite of those two things. However, that would be worth it. I think Star Wars has more Disney Plus wins than Marvel. I'm thinking. I'm still thinking. Just got off Rivals. That's why. I know. I'm just fucking with you, man. What is this? Mando season 1 and 2. 3 animated shows. Marvel has Loki. I'm counting Agatha as a win. I like that show. I mean, if we didn't include finales, WandaVision would be dope. Even fucking what's that one that got cut down to like 4 episodes? The deaf woman from fucking Hawkeye. What's her goddamn name? That show actually was good, except for the finale. WandaVision was good, except for the finale. Yeah, I mean, Hawkeye. Man, Moon Knight was cool mostly until the finale. It definitely could have been much better though. We won't talk about that other show. You know what I mean. You know what? Actually, Delta Dan, I think you might be right. I think you might be correct. Yeah, yeah. Maybe by only a show, but they do win. And like Dominic Toretto said, doesn't matter if it's by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning. Low bar, but yeah. I mean, also true. about as difficult as being the thinnest guy at the buffet. Star Wars has only 3 decent shows. Okay. I'm 100% sure you're going to say Mandalorian is one. What are the other 2 that you find to be at least decent? Or at least one more. Beyond Mando. What's one? Oh, fucking Tales of the Jedi. Shit, I forgot about that one. Yeah, Star Wars definitely wins. I'm not counting that. I'm just counting season 7, which was dope. Okay, most of it was dope. The Ahsoka arc was I. Or the when she's working with the mechanic. That was just I. We want girls to love Star Wars. I don't know anyone who's ever wanted Star Wars to actually be boys only. I can show you a few channels, or at least one for sure. But yeah, overall, you're definitely right. I want everyone to love Star Wars. But yeah, nerdy girls are dope. I mean, that's just fact. The Acolyte wipes out most Star Wars cred. I mean, in overall terms, yeah, but on individual project basis, like what we're talking about, I ignore that. Even didn't like it. Andor was a bigger win than almost all Marvel shows. With an asterisk, yes. Dooku arc from Tales of the Jedi was dope. Fuck yeah, it was. That was amazing. Ahsoka and Tales. I'll watch Agatha, Wanda, Loki way before. Okay. You're allowed to type the I. I promise. Or did fucking YouTube do that? Oh, by the way, I don't know. Like, those of you who weren't here early, YouTube is no longer YouTube on this channel. Thanks to my grandson, it is now called TubeU. My grandson has named it TubeU. Therefore, it is now TubeU in the basement. Oh, that's a whole other discussion, Brennan. Right now, we're acknowledging the label. For the purposes of this discussion, we are going to consider Andor. We're considering the sticker that was slapped onto it for the sake of this particular discussion. But yeah, Delta Dan, you are right. Star Wars has more good shows on Disney Plus than Marvel. See, Brooke, I'm not even going to give it that much credit. It's a sci-fi show with a Star Wars sticker on it. The end. Good talk. Yeah. You have an idea for my next stream? Which would be Saturday. Okay, hit me. What's your idea? Speaking of ideas, Josh's Friday stream is going to be crazy. Determining which MCU characters to get rid of for the reboot. That'll be a fun one. You know, just as an aside, speaking of stream ideas, I wish I was creative enough to come up with ideas like that. That's like my biggest hindrance to being like a really good content creator is I'm very weak on the creativity part of creator. Like, well, Justin, the only thing I'm going to disagree with is that last statement. It did bring new people to the brand. The problem is it alienated many more people than it brought, and all the ones it brought are pinky up motherfuckers that I want to like throat punch. Anyway, Exactly, C-Dub. 100%. I mean, I'm like, most women fall under the, you know, doesn't give a shit category. It's much harder to find loving Star Wars as well. Like, Mrs. Chillin doesn't love Star Wars, but she also respects the fact that I do. So, she respects my nerdiness. Those people are not going to watch Ahsoka. Oh, are you talking about the pinky up motherfuckers I just talked about? Yeah, probably not. Probably not. But luckily, if a large enough, if they're the rest of us are a large enough group that if enough of us get activated, and/or fans will be negligible. Problem is it's very hard to get activated. You haven't watched a Den stream in like 2 weeks? Yeah, that's cool, Brennan. Look at your idea. Oh, sorry. Do one of those power rankings with all the Disney Plus Star Wars Marvel shows. Oh, you want to do a tier list? We can do a tier list on Saturday. Ranking the shows. It's going to be a fair chunk of shows, but yeah, we can do that. I mean, that'll take some time, but that's fine because news is still light. All the Comic-Con news is pretty much over. So, like, if anything huge pops off, obviously we'll talk about that for a little while, but I like that. No, we can totally do that. Let me write that down. I need to write it down. Writing it down with my Marvel pen. Yeah. Oh, I definitely hope Ahsoka season 2 is good. I'm pretty sure it'll be good. Honestly, I think if he doesn't let himself get out of control like he did at the end of season 1, I think Dave's fucking cooking, bro. I guarantee his concepts will be dope. It's just hopefully his execution has improved over time. I'm sure the story idea is dope. I'm sure his sensibilities are dope. I'm sure his goals with it are dope. But the execution needs to match the vision this time. Loki and Tales of the Jedi would rank top that list along with X-Men 97. Oh, yeah. I, honestly, with everything, I mean, granted, it is still all basically rumor and speculation, but like every new thing that comes out is really hinting that if we're not getting Abeloth, we're definitely getting a lot closer to Abeloth. And we'll know it's Abeloth we're getting closer to. Yeah. The Spectacular Spider-Man even ranks better than most of the shitty Star Wars shows. I mean, yeah. It still ranks better than most of the shitty Marvel shows. Let's be real. Abeloth is legend stuff, so not familiar. Did you watch Clone Wars? You remember the Mortis gods? The father, the son, the daughter. You remember that? Well, quick TLDR. Abeloth was a mortal who worked for them as like a maid, caretaker kind of person. And the kids, they went to dad and are like, hey, we want her to be mom all the time. So, he brought her in. She hung out for a while. Found some kind of, because she's human, so she was going to fucking die. So, she found some kind of pool with some properties to it. And she drank from the pool, became immortal, but also turned into the basically a chaos goddess. Like the Sith at least one organization for the dark side. She wants to like whip the dark side around the entire galaxy and just throw it into anarchy and chaos and just wallow in all the bad emotions that fuel the dark side from all that shit. What that boils down to. Yep, those were all bad decisions, C-Dub. You are correct. Oh, yeah, I love the fucking Mortis arc. Mortis arc is great. Yeah, called her the mother. I knew I was forgetting one detail. Yeah, also known as the mother, naturally. Except mother basically went mad and grew teeth. Became an almost unstoppable force of pure dark side chaos. Yeah. Which Game of Thrones? You talking about Hadi? You talking about fucking Dunkin' Egg? Gulpadan. Did I watch? No, I have not. I actually have not watched that trailer yet. Yeah. No. I'm. Yeah, Dunkin' Egg. Yeah, the Ahsoka is awesome. They actually gave her a really, really good arc. Like, people hated her ass when they first brought her in. Like, I wasn't around, but I've heard she was not popular. But they wrote her well enough and actually gave her a real character arc, and now she's fucking popular. Interesting how that works, isn't it? Make a character good, and we will like them. What a weird sentiment, right? People hated the prequels also. Yes, they did. I didn't. I enjoyed the prequels very much. Overall. They are flawed. Let's be real. They're flawed, but I still love them. George knows how to do story. George knows how to do character. George does not know how to do dialogue. My God. One of George Lucas's greatest weaknesses, dialogue. His dialogue is fucking atrocious. That's one of the prequel's biggest flaws right there. It's hard to listen to some of that dialogue. Not going to lie. Some of those conversations is like, uh, why? But yeah. Yeah, exactly, Brennan. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of sand either. I don't mind it on a beach, but I hate it on my towel and in my bathing trunks. In between my toes. At least I don't like it. I like having I don't mind sand on dry sand. As long as it's not too hot. I have a feeling the sand on Tatooine is pretty fucking hot. You know, because 2 suns. Sand is chill. It can be. It can also be the way Anakin describes it, and it can also be glass. Yeah. You melt that shit and turn it into glass. Problem with sequels, there's no continuity. That is one of the major problems. Yes, that gets everywhere part. That really sends me when it comes to sand. Well, because that's the part that happens the most when it comes to sand. Oh, okay. I'm like, how did we get on sand? I just scanned up the chat. It's Brennan's fault. Brennan, this is all your fault. I don't mind. But if anyone else minds, Brennan's fault. Yeah. Can't wait for that Starfighter show to be another copy paste of Mando and Bad Batch. You mean the movie? With the Goss? Well, here's the thing. The OT didn't even have the same director for all 3 movies. It's less about the director and who's doing the story. Yeah. I can't remember if it was. The only thing I can't remember off the top of my head when it comes to the OT is if it was like each movie had a different director. Like it was one director for 4, then a new director for 5, and then a new director for 6, or if it was one director took 2 turns, and then there was one other one. I can't remember that. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go see Starfighter. And then we'll see how bad the ending is. I feel like the cool episodes outnumber the mid episodes by a decent amount when it comes to Bad Batch. What's ironic is some of the best dialogue George ever wrote is spoken by a character that talks in an unconventional manner. Yes. Sent me a DM on Discord. Come on. All right. Well, Discord's booting up. I'm going to go pee. Be right back. Yeah, y'all seen the Deadpool shirt, but check the Batman lounge pants. And isn't there an actual like DC Marvel crossover book with Batman and Deadpool, right? I am a walking representation of that. Oh yeah, no problem, bro. And okay, cool. There's the trailer. All right, I will have to check that out. They'll ban you for a week. That's funny. All right, chat. I'm gonna get on out of here. It's still a work. It's still a school night, as it were. I bet a video. Oh, of course, yeah. Video on that book. I would imagine. I'm gonna get the fuck on out of here. I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves, because I did very much. Nice, lively discussion this evening. Really appreciate that, guys. I really do. Again, if you didn't hit like on your way in, pretty please hit it on your way out. If you're on the replay, thanks for hanging. Appreciate you. Also, I request that you hit the like. And if you have not yet done so, hit that subscribe and the notification bell. And also join the Discord, which one of my magnificent community will be putting in the chat shortly. And it is also linked in the description of this video and on my channel. So, easy to find. So, thank you guys for hanging. Thanks for being a lively chat this evening. It was very fun. Hope you guys had fun. And hope you guys have a good rest of your week. We will see you Saturday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Aye. Be careful out there. Be good to each other. And we'll see you Saturday night. Later. Yeah. Yeah, I think that was a good one, chat. And you know why? Not because of me, because of you. Because you're a dope ass community. You choose to spend your time here. And we know time is precious. Trust me, as someone who just turned 50, I know time is very precious. every day that goes by, I realize how precious it is more and more. It sounded kind of flippant, but it's real talk. So, the fact that you guys choose to spend your precious time here listening to me talk about this stuff, I find to be really amazing, and I'm very, very grateful. So thank you guys for being such a dope community. I appreciate you. Have a good rest of your week. Come on back Saturday night at 10 Eastern. And remember this. Wherever you're at, and whoever you're with, always keep it nerdy. Much love, y'all. See you Saturday. Peace. Thank you, Delta Dan.